are live.
We are live. We're back.
We are back. It's been too long.
It's been way too long. Way too long. 2018 was our last show.
2018, Modish Still Podcast.
But we are back
And this
now.
is a special occasion, ladies and gentlemen. This is the post-election special for Modish Stills. We had to get back together. We had to do it again just to chop it up with you guys and let you just to hear your opinions on the post-election stats, just things that how things have changed, and just the whole country has been flipped. So
exactly, 2020 has definitely been a hell of a year for all of us. I mean, we've had COVID. We lost Kobe Bryant. It's just been thing after thing. John Lewis. We had all the unrest because of the people that have been killed by the police. At the hands of the police.
That's never gonna stop.
It may not stop, but it just doesn't need to be okay. And I feel like right now it's.
We don't need to get used to it.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting used to it. We're getting used to that trauma. Look at your shirt. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you see them guns too.
Okay.
Them Georgia guns.
That's something else that's happened since we were. Is your beautiful gym that we're standing in the middle of right now.
Yeah, we're actually at 4.0 fitness
Congratulations.
right now. Thank you very much.
All right. Congratulations on two things. The first thing is your studio here and being a business owner.
Check me out.
And then the second thing is that you voted for the first time.
Oh yes, and
I was so excited for you. I was really excited. Really excited.
And that was a wonderful feeling. Shout out to my mom. She's always worked the polls and stuff like that, and she's always motivated us to go vote. Unfortunately, I didn't hear the call back then, but once I did hear the call, I couldn't wait to get my chance to do it, and it was an awesome feeling being able to vote.
It's been a great thing watching you become more involved. You worked on.
You ain't seen these in a while.
Oh Lord.
Hey,
You gotta get seasick.
Yeah, you gotta see the waves.
You gotta see the waves. Okay. And I'm supposed to remind you when you have that on.
Yes, you
I
do.
never remind you.
I try to play it off.
I'm so used to seeing you. I'm always supposed to remind you when you have that on.
Well, tell the people why we're here.
Well, today, while we're here, is because, of course, we had our election last night, or last week, rather, excuse me. And like I said, it's been a long 2020. This past weekend, finally, democracy won, and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel from this last administration. And we've elected Joe Biden and Kamala Harris as our nation's 46th president and vice president.
Yeah.
Woo! It feels so good to say that. You see my shirt?
Yeah.
The future is female.
The future is female. And then on that note, for Joe Biden and for Kamala Harris,
you have to give a little spirit libation.
Little shot for him right
here.
Okay,
so. All right. I'm gonna let you handle that.
Let me handle this.
I'm gonna let you handle that.
This for Sleepy Joe and old Kamala.
Well, I'm gonna say this weekend was really great. We had, I don't know about you, but my timeline was very colorful. Shout out Whitney. But my timeline was pretty colorful this past weekend. We had people on both sides really upset. And one thing we want to do on this show.
We have people. Well, I guess you did have people on both sides.
Yeah, that were either there was celebrating, or as the other side might say, gloating. And then there were a lot of sour grapes.
Yes.
I will say that.
You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job.
I think that was on the gloating side. It was probably lose your job.
Your job. Get the dance. Your job. Get
That's the one
dance.
you like.
I love that. That's the one.
So on the podcast coming up in the coming weeks, everybody may say, well, why did y'all wait till the election was over? But we still got work to do. We have runoff elections in January, and I think we're going to have to work really hard to make sure that we're getting people, that we're energizing people, and they know why it's important. We're going to peel back the layers on how we got to last week's historic win, and how we got to the point of Georgia flipping blue, which, it has been since 1992 since Georgia has backed a Democrat as president.
I'm trying to remember the senator's name. I forgot his name. But I don't know if it's flip blue.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so. I have an opinion on that. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think.
Oh no, I gotta hear this.
We gotta hear first. We gotta hear who Rocket was. Y'all put in the comments where you are rocking with us, bro. You from Columbus, Phoenix City, somewhere else in Georgia, Atlanta, Montgomery, Birmingham. Y'all let us know where y'all are rocking with us at. And to my point is, I think that a lot of Republicans, let me say this the right way. Okay, so we stay in Georgia. Whites and blacks, true enough, we're segregated to a degree, maybe at church and stuff like that, but for the most part, when it comes to jobs and employment, we intermingle a lot.
We do.
In Georgia. So I think what happened was, you know, in the offices, in the factories, all around the state, it was white people who know, like, you know what, I have a black friend. She's my friend. I've been working with her 30 years, and I know she's a good woman. What that president is doing is making things bad. She's a good woman.
Right.
And it was probably some blacks who could say the same thing, like, I know Martha likes Trump, but she's a good woman. So I think it was enough Republicans who said, you know what, I'm gonna vote this way on this, but when it comes to the president, I'm not voting for that man no more. I'm voting for Biden. I think it's a lot of crossover. We'll see the real power with this Senate election.
Yes.
It's 2 Senate seats up. This is just as big as the president, just to be honest.
It really is.
It's 48 to 48. We need to get the majority. So this right here this phrase is going to tell me who's engaged.
Right, exactly. And I mean, we have
I'll
Senator.
say we flip Georgia then if the Senate.
If the Senate wins.
Yeah, that's
but you know,
that's a flip.
now the reason why I have to disagree with you on that is because when you look at the map of the early exit polls, where we're talking about you know, how people voted, I think we saw with these Senate elections the same thing that happened with the president, which was on the day of, Republicans got out to vote. We had a president who was telling people not to trust mail-in voting. We had a president who was telling people to be wary of the whole election process. And I think that hurt him in the end. I think it caused people to stay home and not go and vote, his people, to not vote and not bother with it. And I think on the flip side, we went out and we voted. And that's why in the beginning, because if you remember on last Tuesday, they were calling that race for David Perdue and saying that Ossoff lost. But as they started opening those mail-in ballots that got Biden ahead, it pulled him up to where now they're having a runoff too. But, you know, I said, so I think that there was some definite flipping, and if not so, and even if it wasn't a lot of flipping, there was a lot of engagement, and definitely people showed out. Specifically, African-American people showed out with those mail-in votes.
Can I say a Trump line right here?
What's that?
People showed out on both sides.
They did.
They really did. This was a historic election on both ends. The country, it came to a point where, you know, I think every couple of generations come to a point where the country defines who they are.
Yeah.
This was that moment. And you have to look at the other side. 70 million people voted for Trump. A lot of people believe in his rhetoric. A lot of black men, more so than normal, voted for Donald Trump. So it's not all racism. Now, a whole heap it is. Now, I'm gonna call a spade a spade.
Right, and that's what we're really gonna dive into that next week, because I feel like in addition to that, you're absolutely right in saying that, you know, what I'm hearing Joe Biden saying over the weekend with his new transition team that he's put in place is that he wants to bring the country back together. His day one priority is to undo some of the things that President Trump did in his first days in office, the supposed Muslim travel ban. They want to do away with that. He is saying that we're going to join the climate change committee in Paris again, and most importantly, bring the country back together. So I think that with all of those things, it's going to require that he address those 71 million people who voted to keep things exactly the same.
I mean, to a degree. Ride out or get rolled on. I mean, I think to a certain degree, the demos be a little kitty cat. You know what I mean?
You think we're too quick to forgive?
You're too soft.
Too soft?
You got to go hard. You got to let them Rebs know, the Republicans know, hey, y'all had Trump, so y'all should be able to take a little sting. I mean, y'all used to it. Y'all had 4 years of Trump. So he should be able to put a little sting on him.
He was doing whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah, because to me, it's at the end of the day, you commander-in-chief now, Mr. Biden. You know, you got to draw your bottom line and say, hey, you know, we're going to work together, but at the end of the day, y'all lost, so it's on our terms. You can't be leaning too far to the right. I don't think that's fair to the 74 close to 75 million people who voted for you. We
true.
got certain agendas and things that we want, so we trying to get them folks, and we won't even out our strength. We got some more brothers and some more people we can pull on. Everybody knows some folks who didn't vote, so that won't even. They gave us our best shot.
Yes.
To me, I swear to God, that 70 million, that number right there, that was their best. They gave it their best, and that wasn't enough. So we know their bottom line. On the presidential election, we get out more than 70, we got them. We got to figure out what's that number from Georgia, and that's what I'm worried about come January.
Come January. And I think historically, the number of people who voted in the general election, it goes down tremendously when you start talking about a runoff race.
Are we segueing that yet? Because we really got to talk about that, because that's going to help us and the plan. We have to get the youth motivated, because they go off a vibe.
Yes.
Once that vibe goes, they're on to something else.
Because, I mean, if you want to talk about a vibe, I know even here locally, that race with Mark Jones.
Yes.
That
Shout out to Mark. What's up,
Shout
Mark?
out to Mark Jones. But a lot, Mark.
Who? What's that? Mark Jones.
Bye. Say what now?
You remember Mike Jones, the rapper?
I know.
Mark, it's okay.
I know what you're saying. I'm just like, where was I? Never mind.
She didn't see the commercial.
I did see his commercials.
A commercial.
All of his commercials, they were very colorful. I'll say that.
They definitely, and to me, with Mark, that's voter suppression. This is what I feel about that. That's voter suppression.
Well, I want to come back to that.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, we're going to come back to that.
And the Democrat, let me hush, because some of your people, the Democratic Party. So I'm over Indo, because the Democratic Party in Columbus is weak.
Why gotta be my people?
Because I know you in the independent party. You ain't with us. You with the
You're independent.
Because the demos in Columbus, they're not taking up for Mark. I've been hearing no prominent Democrats come out to take up for Mark. I'm calling all y'all out. Where y'all at? He ran up on the Democrat platform. He won. He's the most progressive DA probably in Georgia history. He's willing to help the people, and I haven't heard that one major Democrat in Columbus publicly come out to defend this man. And I don't understand that. If the Republicans had a person in this position, like the president, and they would die to take a district attorney over 5 counties in the second biggest city in Georgia.
But with a DUI. We got to keep it real.
Okay, with a DUI.
We got to keep it real.
A misdemeanor DUI let's go on to something else. But a misdemeanor DUI.
No, we can't go on to something else.
I know you want to come back to it. It was a misdemeanor DUI that got rolled to something. Did you see the damage to his vehicle?
I mean,
did you?
I didn't. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've tried.
Do your research. Go look to the vet. I'm not saying a scratch. I didn't even see a scratch. So I feel like it's a plot. And I feel like it's basically the Republicans are like, you know what, the Democrats are doing, and we ain't really got to step in.
Now, I will say, I'm asking that question as devil's advocate. Do I particularly care or feel like it affects how he would do the job? I do not. And I do not feel like that affects his job at all.
I think it's Attorney General or
but the reality is
the AG or the governor is going to appoint a district attorney for Columbus. That's what they're trying to do.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. That's the point, is that I feel like a lot of this is happening because I don't think it was expected that he would blow out that race the way he did. And I feel like this is kind of some back-end suppression to bring these charges that are, especially the Civic Center thing, that are, to me, trumped up and ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And trying to trump those up in order to get their way. The one that I'm worried about is the DUI case. I mean, and that's just the reality.
And that's something to definitely be concerned about. But I feel like now in today's climate, after 4 years of Donald Trump and all the things he did, we should be able to deal with a little DUI that nobody got hurt on.
Well, and I don't think. I just think it's a point of if they indict him, if he's convicted of a felony,
Columbus,
then
if they do that, we got to find the most Willie lump person in the world to vote for DA and get behind them. We cannot let them put in there who they want. We got to put in there who we want. Because I feel like the people spoke.
Yes, the people spoke on who they wanted in that position.
And we also spoke for the president too, for all y'all folks up in Harris County.
But we're going to come back to that because that is a very interesting case, and I think it's something that has never happened in the history of our city. So I feel like it's something that we definitely need to follow. And for all the people who came out and supported Mark Jones in the primaries and in his election.
Yeah. Now just to clarify, I had heard people, congratulate him on the election. I'm talking about the actual indictment and stuff like that as for taking up for him on that end right there. I know a lot of people don't want to get involved, especially other elected officials.
Exactly, and I think that's where that is.
Yeah, but it's still not fair. Grow some balls.
Grow some balls, grow up hair.
Trump done changed everything for me. You got to set the bottom line. You got to be tough.
But the thing is, we can't go on like
70 million people showed you they don't want a weak president. They want a bottom line. They want somebody who's straight, no chaser. So we have to, independents and Democrats, we have to adopt some of those practices to reach over to them. They don't want the politically correct person. They don't want the person going to get up here and lie to your ass. They want somebody who will give it to you straight. So the Democrats got to snatch some of that up and use some of that to our advantage.
I agree. Now that part I can definitely agree with. So we've talked about how Georgia was the surprise swing state. That you don't think that we were actually a swing state.
I'll go with it for now.
And let me tell you, I do agree with you because when you look at the map, Georgia is not blue. It's not. It's mostly red, and it was like the Atlanta area, Columbus, Savannah, but fortunately, we're a bigger population. Augusta area, that the population there is so high.
Macon was in the middle. It was like one blue in the middle, surrounded by red.
But that still tells you there's a lot of people in this state who voted for things to stay exactly the same. With President Trump. Then we got to talk about how he's keeping Joe Biden and his new transition team out of the White House. He's filed all these frivolous lawsuits. Only one has been upheld. It's been over a dozen of them in 6 different states. He wanted them to stop counting the votes. He wanted them to allow them to get closer.
He wanted them to stop in one spot and keep going in another spot.
Yeah, where he was losing, then he wants them to keep going. But the ones where he was winning, he wants them to stop counting those votes. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous when you think about, but it makes you think what's going to happen in January and how much of a excuse me, but a shit show is it going to be when they are trying to transition for the inauguration? I don't think he's going to come to the inauguration. What do you think?
He's acting like a spoiled brat.
That's every day, but okay. That's every day.
You lost
fair and square.
And he's just, this is Trump. If you look at the history of Trump, he's always sued people. He's always did these lawsuits. This is the Donald Trump that we grew up knowing, that you see in the tabloids. He's not doing nothing that's outside of his character. So I'm not surprised. I don't expect him to go to the, what is it called?
To the inauguration?
To the inauguration.
Yeah, no.
I think Mike Pence is gonna do it. I think Mike Pence still respects the country. And Mike Pence, he was just a loyal vice president. You can't really knock him. He was just being a loyal vice president. But I think he'll probably do it. I'd be surprised if Trump do it. I'm ready for the transition. I'm ready to get a responsible president as a commander-in-chief who has empathy for the people, all people, not just one group of people. And I think that was a major thing that kind of messed Trump up, that he was just for one group of people. And I think when it comes to our people, a lot of people, they might have supported Trump for some of the wrong reasons. Some of it was financial, but some of the stuff I heard was just crazy. Trump gave me money because people were doing the little fraud or whatever.
Right.
But that wasn't Trump money. And it's just, if you feel
they said they had those Trump checks, like Nene Leakes.
Exactly.
I got a Trump check.
So saying stuff like that makes you think that, maybe you're financially better off under Trump, when really the pandemic caused that, and the taxpayers are going to pay that money back. So that's just part of the ignorance that goes through the black community. We know how it is.
Right.
We can talk about us. Y'all can't talk about us, but we know how it go and how things can get misconstrued. So
I did hear a lot of people.
I just want things to go back to normal. I don't want to hear about the president every single day doing something, tweeting or whatever.
Do you think that we can go back, that there'll be a time when we can go back, or has too much damage been done, you think?
Trump didn't create racism. He just brought out the ones who was feeling a certain type of way.
That part.
So I think either they're gonna cower and just, cause they're here now. Let's just die off. The older ones will die off eventually. But racism is America. America's racism is part of who we are. It's part of our culture. Hopefully, I think things will simmer down. I definitely think things will simmer down. And what we were used to being normal, we'll go back to that. Not saying that that was all right.
They're just gonna put their sheets back on.
Exactly. We won't be hearing about the president every single day, man. It's
I feel like those supporters. I feel like people feel the way they feel, and that's one thing I can say I appreciated about
Obama
Trump.
or Trump?
No, I just cannot call him President Trump. I'm sorry. About Trump being in office is that it made people bold, and you at least knew who people were, and they weren't afraid to say who they were. I feel like I'd like to know who you are. I don't want you hiding behind sheets and in the back.
I love that about Trump. He brought out, you see, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, see, my dad, I tell this story all the time when we talk about politics. My dad used to call me a blue dog. Like, people think, well, my name, Blue,
I call
my dark
you Blue.
skin.
Yes.
But my dad before my nickname was even Blue in the streets, my dad used to call me, you old blue dog, because my dad grew up watching CNN. He used to watch Crossfire, so, you were stuck watching what dad watched until he went and fell asleep or whatever, then you get the TV. So I used to watch politics with him. I would state an opinion about something. He would say that was very Republican of you, or blue doggish, which is, I didn't know what it was then, but now I know it's a conservative, a Democrat. So, with how things are now, I think that when I look at politicians who I used to kind of like a little bit, like Lindsey Graham, he was somebody.
Who?
Before the Trump thing, I'm talking just as a politician. Listen
okay, I'm listening.
I got another one for you.
I don't know.
The lady they just elected for the Supreme Court. Now, some things that I feel Trump supported when it comes to game breakers. I was telling a friend of mine, she agrees with a policy to let people who have convicted felons get back all their rights once they've done their time. I totally agree with that. I got a business here. You see, I got a 1,300 square foot facility located in Southeast Columbus.
Give them their address.
And I have a lot of times I have women in here, older women in here, my mom in here. I should be able to protect where I make my money at. And that's some shit. I'm not saying I agree with everything she agreed. I'm not saying I agree with everything Lindsey Graham agrees with. But it was a time. It wasn't recently. It was definitely a while ago. But it was some of the things I liked how he moved as a politician. I study politicians.
Right.
I bite some of their stuff. I bite their moves. But when he flipped, how he talked about Donald Trump so bad, and how he flipped and just changed when his boy died. I disliked him as a person. I used to be like, okay, I don't agree with everything you say as a politician, but I like how you move.
Right.
And now it's like, I don't like you as a person, knowing that how you flipped on John McCain and how you just sucked up the trunk, and it's just some of the racist things that just be coming out your mouth because you saw it work for Trump, and that's why I think that they're doing it, because they're like, it worked for Trump. They might not say they racist, but it's working, so let me use it too.
Right. Well, I just have to say, and I think that's where I kind of diverge, is that I feel like, I feel like we're not monolithic people, even black people. We're not all the same. So I can't look at you and say, you believe what? I might do it because I know you, but
I know, I'm
in the grand scheme of things,
demo, or maybe independent. Cause
I think probably independent.
Yeah, me too, especially because Columbus, man.
And I feel like you should always vote your own interests. I think it's dumb for anybody to go into that election.
Even if that's moral interest?
How would you weigh
moral versus financial? Because that's why I see myself going with
people believe
a lot of people
more in
who
their
want to go for
morals
Trump. It's like, morally, he's not a good president. He might make some moves for you financially that was better, but I guess that's something that everybody has to weigh personally.
Right, and I feel like that's why it was important during this election and going forward that you can't just, that can't be your only defense against Trump, is that, oh, he's racist, because some people don't care. Some people are like, okay, maybe he is, but what I'm benefiting and it's not hurting me directly, even though they don't understand that it'll come around and it could hurt you too. But, for some people it's just not, when they're weighing their pros and cons, their money is more important than the moral aspect of the politician they support. And I feel like Democrats have to continue to figure out what people were supporting about Trump. And it can't just be, oh, you're racist, because I think that is a very small-minded thing to do. You got to address that.
It's true, though.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are racist, and but
more
some
so,
are not.
Let's go morally, man. I mean, I can't speak for nobody else, but I've always was the person growing up that, I was the person that stepped to the bully. You know what I'm saying? I think that when it comes to Americans, no matter what the color, that's who we are. We're supposed to protect the weak, and stand up to the bullies. And I feel like when it comes to Trump, a lot of people riding with the bully. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, Trump, you being disrespectful or mean to a certain segment of people, they're kind of cheering that on. That's weak people to me, because I got, as a friend, what's up, Scott? If you watch, me and Scott, we still straight, but he said some real bad things that I felt on a post I made. He was like, I don't care. I'm still gonna be successful. They're gonna be like this, making me feel like, you know, you separated, you know, himself from, I'm not gonna say black people, but, you know, people who don't believe like that, like he believes.
Right.
And that's not what. And he's into saving people's lives. He flies a chopper. So I'm like, you know, it's somebody.
Oh, I know Scott.
Yeah, so it's like, so you thinking like that, and I know he in the moment, because he's posting a lot of bullshit on his page, but he's in the moment right now. But at the same time, going back to what you said about, I know he's not a racist. You know what I'm saying? But it makes me think, what are y'all holding on? Like, what's so important that you know that friends like me, Scott, you know this is disturbing how I feel, but that's not a game changer for you, knowing that how I feel about how the president treated my people. So that's the only thing I kind of struggle with a little bit, but it doesn't mean the same to everybody.
Yeah, I definitely struggle with that as well. Because for me, that's always a deal breaker. If you're treating people with disrespect, if you are making people feel less than, if you're making people feel unsafe, if you're making people feel like, you know, they can't even go out their house because someone may, you know, these vanilla ISIS is out here shooting people up, and you don't know if they're gonna shoot you because you're Muslim, you don't know if you're gonna be targeted because you're black, but, you know, it's like, or you're gonna be targeted by ISIS because you're Hispanic and they wanna see if you're legally here.
Can I address that point real quick? And once again, this might be Coach T-Flow going there, you know how I get sometimes, but I think once again, I think a lot of Trump supporters, I talked to my homeboy about it earlier, I think a lot of them be capping. I think they cap. We not say that, if Trump's the president, we're gonna do this. If Trump's the president, we're gonna do that. Y'all ain't do shit. A lot of these people are gynecologists, they're barbers, they're whatever, professional people who got 401ks, corporate lawyers, and they get on the weekends with their AR, and their little militias, they go to these places and hoop and holler, but then it's back to normal. Just like the bikers. You see the bikers, you see a whole fuck of bikers.
The bikers for
all
Trump.
of them, like I say, all of damn pet store owners or something. They look all with their beard, looking all hard. You get there, a little fluffy. Y'all ain't hard, but
they have on a costume.
Look at Columbus. Almost 40 murders. Who doing all the killing? Right. That's who y'all gotta worry about. We ain't gotta worry about them folks. Them folks is all cap. When it comes to violence, when it comes to revolution, when it comes to change, we have to be civil. Yes. They talking about people so bad, calling them snowflakes, calling them crybabies, stop whining. Who do we see doing all that right now?
Damn. Because I remember, if you remember in 2008, and this is what my problem is with Trump not conceding the race, is that I remember in 2018 when Stacey Abrams was questioning her very close election. I mean, the numbers were so close between her and the now governor, and
you don't like saying his name, do you? Okay, I'm sorry.
And he's such an idiot. During COVID, I mean, that's when he showed me that if they are for strong leaders, he is not a strong leader. The governor of Georgia.
Leadership is about
Well, the governor of Georgia, I feel like he let the state down when he wouldn't stand against President Trump and go ahead and have us wear masks.
And our mayor too.
Simple.
And our mayor too, because he was on the pipeline. All the mayors were bucking. Savannah Mayor buck, Augusta Mayor buck. Macon Mayor buck, Atlanta Mayor buck. Guess who didn't buck? Columbus. Guess who looked like the mayor and the governor? Guess who look alike? Them two.
And I just think it's disgusting that anybody would know that there's a pandemic going on, and if you could even keep it from spreading just by wearing your mask, to me that's like a no-brainer. And you know, to make it some kind of political statement when you're dealing with people's lives, I just feel like that's ridiculous, and it's stupid, and it's.
But you were saying you saw how people acted then. You mean as for reacting to him being the governor and conceding, or
at that time, Stacey Abrams, they wanted her. They were saying, "Oh, be a gracious loser. Go ahead and concede the race." They wanted her to do that on election night when she was so close, when the numbers were super close,
exactly,
way closer than they are now.
People,
but those same people
the exact same people
are saying, "Oh, well, we need to wait and see what the courts say. Oh, the ballots aren't valid."
Pennsylvania ain't over yet. They haven't called Georgia. It's voter man.
No, they haven't. But I mean, the bottom line is of the states that have officially been called, Joe Biden has the 271. So, I mean, any other any other election year, at 270, we call the race. And it's been called. So.
And Hillary Clinton, she conceded.
Yes.
The race. I don't know the exact time period. Was it the next day or the same night? But she conceded the race.
I believe it was late in the evenings. I remember we found out maybe about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Trump's not going to do this. And the quicker he does, I think things will start healing. Like you say, they'll hide their masks. Hopefully the temperature will come down. I think that's the main thing that Biden's going to do. He's not going to change races. Race is going to be racist. People who support Trump for whatever reason besides racism, that they support Trump, they're going to keep on supporting him. But I think the temperature, the climate will come down.
And I feel like you can't make a change until the climate cools off, until people get out of their feelings and stop being so sensitive about. And I don't mean sensitive about racism, because I'm always going to be sensitive about racism, as we all should. I'm going to be super sensitive.
We're supposed to be, but it's just the facts are a lot of people support a lot of white people who I know personally, who I know they're not racist. They support this guy. Yeah. And I really want to get into the mind of them just to see like what's so important. You knowing what he stands for, knowing that he's a bully, knowing that his character, his moral compass doesn't deserve to be the leader of our nation, and I just want to know why.
Yeah, and we're going to really dig into that next week.
Hey, we'll have a boy. He's coming to holler at us.
Okay, we got Lee coming in. We have
Scott to come. Scott, pull up. You ain't scared, Scott.
That's right. Come on, Scott. We're inviting you too. Come on. And we got we have a former candidate for school board. Sherry Aaron will be with us next week. Yeah, my bestie.
I've been all over Sherry videos lately. I've been watching shit.
Well, we've had some colorful conversations.
Yeah, y'all be on vacation. Y'all be everywhere.
We're going to Miami
for
her birthday.
Look at Sherry. Hey.
So yeah, we have a good time, and next week's gonna be a really good time. But we wanted to come and show everybody that we're back and just kind of give them a taste.
Forgot about your girl checking in next week too.
Oh yeah, and Jamie is gonna join. Jamie Jeans is gonna join us as well, and we're gonna break down the votes and talk about. Remember, in 2018, one of the big things, and in 2000, was white women supporting Trump, and that totally flipped on him this time.
Yes, they came back.
They came back and was like, not this time. They was like, I don't know what you said to him, Jamie, but they was like,
Jamie got it across to a shot to Jamie.
We won't do it again.
And I wonder, we're gonna have to get some. I had something. I don't know where I did with it, but we're gonna have to get some election poll stats too. Cause I want to know what the breakdown was. Who voted?
I have it all in your packet there for you.
Oh, okay. Absolutely. So I go ahead and
look. You can study it.
We can chop up. Okay.
We can be ready for next week.
See that right there. See that right there.
Look at them numbers.
Look, all them right there. They're gonna go to that right next time. I'm telling you now.
So we're gonna talk more about the Senate race next week, and we're gonna talk about the demographics and break down the numbers, and we're gonna talk about what exactly the Democrats have to do if they want to energize the people who they got more people to come out and vote, but some of those people didn't vote the way they thought they were going to vote because black men were like, no.
We got to find the reasons. So we got to do some research. I think one of the reasons I hear is they're going to take our guns. So they're not going to take your guns. Don't believe that shit.
And I think for the black men, and this is, I don't want to get all the way into it, but I think a lot of it was financial reasons. I think about it. Yeah, I think about it now. Think about this. We have black billionaires. We have a lot of black millionaires now. Yes. And for those families, those black millionaires and billionaires it's not like it's a legacy of money. They're the only ones. They're the first generation to have money in their families. They're taking care of their entire family. So the thought of saving money on taxes, they feel like I'm already giving out welfare to all my family. So to them, that's important not to pay so much in taxes.
I definitely feel you on that. I think kind of 50 kind of alluded to that range right there. What I've been hearing in the streets though, because like a lot of people I talk to, they're definitely not millionaires. What I've been hearing in the streets is two things. One thing I think is,
I'm sorry.
No, you about right. I think it's ignorant to the fact because it's his hip hop presence.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's his connection to money. You know what I'm saying? All the rappers growing up talk about Trump, so they like, man, Trump. If Trump won't straight, why is so and so talk about it? You know what I'm saying? Trump get that paper. Trump get that money. And another thing that I hear about Trump is a lot of, and this was for more middle-aged black men closer to my age, like Trump a straight shooter. He tell like it is.
Yeah.
What did Obama do for us? Thing was the same. So it was just like I didn't trick with the little money they got. It made it look like he did something extra when he really didn't. This pandemic was unfortunate, And a lot of these businesses, they need this money. Of course, sometimes fraud is going to happen.
Yeah.
But they attribute them checks to Trump. So when you add that in there, I think it gave him and that's why he was flexing like he was going to drop another stimulus check, which he never dropped. So.
And good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that. But people need to get that money, so because a lot of people are hurting. So.
Yeah. So and the other thing is to me it's just another example of his incompetence was even the SBA loans. You talked about that a little bit, that how people were able to commit so much fraud and the money wasn't available to the small businesses who really needed it, or the process was so difficult and so complex that the average everyday person, I mean, you have a gym, you're not an accountant, you're not a grant, or whatever you had to do.
I need my
what I'm saying? You didn't have the records and the taxes from years behind.
I gotta keep it going. Yeah. Now, you can't be letting them Trump policy like that go.
But it was businesses like yours that needed that money that didn't have, some of them didn't have access to it.
A lot of the big companies sucked a lot of the money out too.
Until they got caught.
Some of them gave it back too. So we got a lot to talk about next week.
We got a lot to talk about. I'm excited.
Me too. Yeah. So this is the Modish Still Podcast. I am Coach T Flow, the GOAT.
And I'm Frankie Foster, and we will see you next week.
Peace. You got to cut off your phone.
Okay.
Hey.